Hey folks, Matthew with Tactical Comms. And if you're watching the news, the weather information lately, you notice there's a couple of storms that are starting to get people's attention in the Gulf of Mexico as well as on the eastern seaboard in the Atlantic. And our series in the last week or so has been on emergency communications during disasters, what happens when there are no comms. So one of the things I want to talk to you about is this nifty little device. It's little shortwave receiver, but it does a lot of different cool stuff. This is the GP5 SSB from CountyComm. Really like this tool, and it's just a great little small, doesn't weigh a whole lot to keep with you, and it has a lot of cool features in it. And one of the coolest features that I like about it is it does have single sideband, which means you can hear amateur radio, you can hear the WeatherFax bulletins, you can hear the time clocks, you can WWV, things like that. But it really will give you a lot of information at the tip of your fingertips without significant investment. This was less than $100. Now CountyComm has an upgraded version now that's even better. I haven't had an opportunity to play with it, but this one I've had for a long time. I encourage you to get it out. So what does it do? This is a shortwave radio receiver. It's a receiver only. It doesn't transmit, but it does shortwave, it does long wave, it does medium wave, and it does FM. And what does that mean to you? Well, that means that you can listen to AM radio stations that are in the area. You can listen to FM radio stations just like you could in your car. You can listen to shortwave broadcasts that are, over the horizon kind of stuff. And then you can also hear single sideband. And we've already mentioned that. The cool feature to being able to use single sideband is to be able to decode WeatherFax. Now, using my Microsoft Surface tablet and just the microphone that's connected to it, I was able to decode some of the WeatherFax broadcasts. Now, here's the website for where you can find the National Hurricane Center's weather broadcast. This information is mostly for mariners. It's transmitted over certain HF frequencies. Mariners, boaters can actually set their HF receivers on this, and it's called WeatherFax or RadioFax. But you can get weather charts, you can get all sorts of information, surface analysis. There's even a satellite imagery that's broadcast at least twice a day, and it's a great resource to you. Now, one of the things that I did was I also ordered the little wire extension. When you're dealing with shortwave or you're dealing with HF frequencies, you really need a longer antenna than just a telescopic whip. And I think Tech Prepper and then I think Tony at Wyoming Survival have actually made their own little wire wheel antennas. Those are really, really cheap and inexpensive to make and use. You can do that as well. When I bought this one, it was just easy to grab it and put it up. It extends the length of the antenna and allows you to get a better reception on shortwave and HF signals. One thing that I also recommend doing, if you buy a device like this that uses NiCad batteries, make sure that you are not storing the device with the batteries in it. NiCad batteries can actually corrode and cause damage to the device. So I keep my batteries out of the device and before I power or when I'm not using it. Always carry an extra set of batteries with you and change them frequently because you never know when they're going to die, and the device is no good if you don't have batteries. But as you can tell, this is a very small device, and just to put it in contrast, this is a Amazon Fire Stick remote, and that's the size of it. It's really, really small. It's got a belt clip. It comes with a nice leather case. Great device. Like I said, for the money, you can't beat it. Got decent audio, and I would highly recommend it. So let's talk about some resources for the hurricane. Obviously, well, it's not hurricanes yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the tropical weather. Obviously, I would recommend having a device such as a shortwave receiver, and then I would also recommend getting some online resources before the storm. One of those is the National Weather Services or the National Hurricane Center's broadcast schedule, and then the other is the National Hurricane Net. The National Hurricane Net, anytime a hurricane gets within 250 nautical miles of a U.S. coastline, this is an amateur radio net or volunteer service that stands up and takes real-time reports, distress calls, things of that nature regarding the hurricane. So it's a great resource to listen. You can get real-world intelligence up. Now, there's other resources out there. We'll be doing a few videos in the coming days to talk about preparedness. I'm really excited about a collab that's coming up. We're going to be doing with a good friend, and we hope to see that soon. But if you're in the coastal area, either in the Gulf or in the eastern coast, the Atlantic, now's the time to start thinking about, hey, you know, it's been a year since we've dealt with any hurricanes, so let's make sure our preps are ready. Let's make sure we're ready to bug out and evacuate if necessary. And then have a plan. Have somewhere to go. Have somewhere inland to go. You know, just stay weather smart. Stay aware. With Tactical Comms, I'm Matthew, and see you soon.